Welcome to another edition of Great Health, Abundant Happiness, and Outrageous Love. Mwah. Tonight we're going to do a little different video. We were listening to a recording of Wayne Dyer, the late great Wayne Dyer.
I loved him.
It's great, yeah.
And it's just so spectacular that he left so much behind for us to learn from.
I know. It makes you wonder, what are you going to leave behind? You know, don't you think about things like that when you
I know.
read things or listen to things? Well, anyway, they're really, what are we calling them? They're ideas about how to transform your life.
Right. He left behind these incredible ideas to help us transform our lives. And we're going to go through some of them. And again, these are his ideas. And he really does explain to us, though, that we need to interpret them, per our own thoughts, because our thoughts are what transform our life.
Yeah, everybody's perception is a reality, as we always say. So we're going to just listen to one of these and we're going to talk about it. I think it's like a 30 seconds or less. Here we go.
Number one, know in your heart that there is an invisible intelligence in everything. And you have the power to make contact with this divine intelligence and create a life of bliss. There is something divine that rolls through all things. You can't get a hold of it? A little seedling has treeness in it when it is put into the ground.
Love it.
You can't see treeness, you can't see the tree, yet you know it is in there. And same with you. You have greatness. You have an energy that is so powerful, and it flows through you and in everything that you come into contact with. Know it, begin to trust it, and you'll find yourself experiencing transformation in your life.
Okay, so good stuff. Energy flowing through everything. I forget the word that he used, but we were talking. I'm calling it energy. What did he say? His exact words. We were calling it energy the other day, flowing through everything. Everything on this planet, Karen and I, every hard surface, soft surface, living thing, innate thing like a table or the rocks behind us are atoms and they're moving. So they all have energy and we're all connected.
Right. I mean, a house has energy. You can feel it when you walk in, and it's...
Well, that's what, we like to talk about this. This is our nest. It feels really good coming in here. We've had great times with the kids and friends up here skiing at Copper Mountain, and Karen and I just have a lovely life here. So it's like the field stones on this fireplace have just soaked up all of our positive energy, right?
Right. Well, we were talking about it, as we had dinner tonight, that, our table that we sit at, it exudes positive energy because we spend so much time there. We'll share wine there and great conversation, play games, cards, etc. We've sat with so many friends and family at that table, and it's an inanimate object, but it exudes high vibration because that's what it's surrounded by. Now, on the flip side, if we, had been sitting at that table for all these years, arguing and fighting, etc., it would have a very different energy source.
Well, we have a true story about the flip side.
We do have a true story.
I don't know if you're remembering. That's what you're going to tell, the story, right?
Yeah, well, share with me in telling it, but when Jeffrey and I were moving to one of our moves, Illinois, and we were house hunting, we went into a house which was in the perfect location. The outside of the house was absolutely what we were looking for. We walked in, the layout, everything was updated. It was just physically what we were looking for. And we went through the whole house and we went down the basement, and then we left the house and we got in the car, and Jeffrey and I just looked at each other and said, something just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it didn't feel good.
Yeah, there was
wasn't it really weird? Didn't you get a really weird feeling, specifically down in the basement? We kind of weirded each other out. We were just talking about how it didn't feel right, and all of a sudden, this knock on our window almost startled us, and we looked, and it's the realtor. And what did she say?
She said, And what's funny is that she had a knock on the window because we rolled the windows up when we got in there because we didn't want anyone to hear
Well, we're
us
in deep conversation about this.
talking
That's
about
right. Yeah.
this weird feeling we got in this what appeared to be
Right.
the perfect home. Anyway, she's rapping on our window. Jeffrey rolls down. She startled us, and she said, what did you think of the house? And we're like, well, yeah, I mean, it's a really pretty house.
Great.
And she
yeah,
said,
good.
well, I want to let you know I'm required by law to let you know that there was a murder in the house.
Yeah.
And we said, oh, okay, well, yeah, that doesn't really bother us, and we'll be in touch. Anyway, we rolled up the window. She walked away. Jeffrey hit the gas.
Oh my God, I don't think so. But the point is, to the story,
We already knew.
we already knew the energy was there.
Mhm.
I mean, think about that for a minute. The energy was there, just like we're talking about in this place. There's so much positive energy exuding from every object, whether it's soft or solid, or person, or Karen and I and Sugar Baby, or anybody else that's here.
Right.
Really positive. So it's all energy, and as Wayne was saying, there's this stream of this energy through everything.
Right.
The other piece I want to talk about, I love that he calls it the seedling has treeness in it. It reminds me of some other story I read about the acorn. There's actually a massive oak tree inside this acorn, and you wouldn't know it just to look at this little seedling, right? That you have this massive tree that's going to grow, and just like that, every person and thing actually has some greatness in it. It just needs to be watered and nurtured, right?
Exactly. And we didn't talk about this, but I've been thinking about this, that when you and I met, not the very first time, because we met briefly, and then it was 3 years later when we met again, the energy in our conversation and then on our first date was so powerful that it catapulted my individuality into something that was combined with your individuality, and that energy together. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about this since I listened to what Wayne was saying, and it's just one more way in which our lives can be transformed by energy and by other energy, whether again it's an inanimate or a person.
Right.
And a person, I think, has even that much more vibrational energy. So that was a really huge epiphany for me.
Yeah, so also like attracts like, going back to this energy running through everything. We both had real positive vibes, attracted to each other, the whole twin soul thing, the attraction. Absolutely. And then going back to this treeness.
Yes.
Right? Everybody's got treeness in. So I guess that if you want to go to the analogy with us, obviously there's something that attracted us together, but then there was a greater thing inside that we just nurtured it and brought it out.
Yes.
But
that was where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I just, we talk to a lot of people that may be down on themselves, or they might not be in the right job, or there's, something going on, and we're just trying to help pull that greatness out. And it's the sun and the water, and the analogy is just the kind of care and feeding and that self-love that someone has to have to make that greatness come out, right?
Right. And like you said, you do need, whether it's in your own self or a connection like I was talking about, the energy needs to be nurtured in order for it to grow to an even higher vibrational, state, regardless of what it is. If it's great energy mixing with great energy, it's a lot easier to see that happen, right? But sometimes people don't have the great energy because, like Jeffrey said, something, they're at a lower point in their own self existence. And the reminder of what Wayne Dyer is saying is, remember, there is greatness within all of us. And although you may not feel it now, The seedlings are there. There's greatness within you, and you need to expound upon that. And that energy, once you find it, nurture it. And I was talking with somebody about this today, that, you know, nurturing yourself is not selfish. It's essential for our growth and our energy to expand. So nurture within yourself, and, you know, let that greatness out and share it with the world, because every single person has an effect on the overall vibrational energy of the earth.
Right.
Which is super cool.
Well, absolutely. And sometimes it just takes little tweaks. There's somebody else that I'm doing some work with that, you know, I talked to him the other day. We're on video, and we were on a business-like call, and afterwards I said, "What's going on with you?" He's like, "Your energy's so low." He goes, "What do you mean?" I mean, I can just see through the video, like you're just really flat. Your energy's really low. What's going on? Can I help? And he explained this, you know, terrible story, all the stuff that's going on. And I told him that, like, you just got to move beyond that, let it go, and focus on your self-worth, and, you know, pull yourself up. The next day we were on a call, and it was like night and day. It was all pumped up again and vibrant. And I said, "I can just see the change in you." But he made that shift. So again, this is just energy. This wasn't a discussion. You know what I'm talking about. You can look at people, and you can walk into a room. You know, I like to call them light givers and light takers. Light givers just exude this energy. People around them, they're attracted to them. Light takers are in the corner, you know, kibitzing, maybe they're, you know, bitching about something, or they're complaining about something. You can just feel it. So it really comes from within, that work on the energy. But, you know, to your point, everybody's got that greatness. You got to, like, nurture it and get it out there.
Right. And, you know, I want to just expound for a minute on the person you're talking about, without any details. It was just one day later. So the circumstances of his life, and like Jeffrey said, a pretty awful story. The circumstances weren't different the next day. What was different was the way he was thinking about them. And that's what Wayne Dyer really talks about, is change your thought, change your life. And we're able to let the greatness within us shine and be shared and raise our vibration once we can change our own thoughts, right? I mean, and within a day you could see, you know, even just him describing, you know, his own mood.
Yeah, it was a quick transition.
It was incredible. And a lot of it was, he just changed his thoughts in the same circumstances, but he changed his thoughts.
Right.
Wishing you great health, abundant happiness, and outrageous love from the nest at Copper Mountain.
Thanks for listening, guys.